Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Have you ever imagined that a simple 5-cent coin from 1997 with a D mint mark could hold a value that surpasses luxury cars, lavish mansions, and even private jets, with a face value of just 5 cents but a historical worth of $38 million? This story of the 1997 D nickel is shaking the numismatic world and igniting collectors' imaginations because somewhere in the folds of history and precision minting, one small mistake turned an ordinary coin into a treasure worth millions. And this isn't just a tale about a piece of metal, it's about how microscopic imperfections, minting anomalies, and time itself can create an artifact that transcends its monetary value and becomes a legend. Picture this: a Jefferson nickel minted in Denver in 1997, expected to be one among hundreds of millions, circulating through hands, pockets, and tills across America, but a few special ones were struck differently, whether it was an off-center strike, a double die obverse, a misaligned collar, or a dramatic planchet error. Something went astonishingly right in the wrong way, creating a masterpiece of imperfection. Collectors around the globe have been hunting these elusive coins because the slightest difference, a double date, a misplaced mint mark, or even a faint die crack running across Jefferson's profile, could mean the difference between pocket change and a multimillion-dollar windfall. Some experts believe that during 1997, Denver Mint experienced several machine recalibrations, leading to the creation of a very limited number of nickels that show a remarkable clash error where the die faces met without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of design elements on both sides, making them visually stunning and scientifically fascinating. These mint errors, when combined with perfect preservation, turn into rarities that auction houses dream about. Imagine holding a coin that looks like any other but under magnification reveals doubled inscriptions on the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," faint traces of an earlier strike, or even a misaligned D mint mark slightly hovering above its usual position, signs that tell the story of a misstep in a perfectly controlled environment. When collectors encounter such details, they don't just see metal, they see history, accident, and rarity merging into art. What adds to the mystique of the 1997 D 5-cent coin is that very few of these error pieces have surfaced publicly, and when one did appear, it shattered expectations, with bidding wars erupting among seasoned collectors, driving the price from thousands to millions within minutes, all because of its minting flaw and pristine state. Many believe there are still undiscovered examples sitting unnoticed in old jars, inherited collections, or tucked away in forgotten rolls of nickels waiting to change someone's life forever. But why does such an error hold this much value? It's because rarity plus condition equals astronomical worth, and when you factor in a compelling story, a coin that shouldn't exist but does, you create the perfect recipe for viral fame in the collecting world. The Denver Mint in the late 90s was transitioning its machinery, and the production volumes were enormous, so even the smallest inconsistency could yield a few distinct specimens. The most desirable 1997 D nickels show traits like partial double strikes, repunched mint marks, die rotations exceeding 30 degrees, or planchet laminations that create unique surface textures under the light. Some show weak strikes on Jefferson's hair detail, paired with sharply defined lettering on the reverse Monticello design, suggesting uneven pressure application during minting. These technical nuances make collectors obsess over every curve, every letter, every ridge, because they reveal how human imperfection can create beauty even in a mechanical process. Moreover, many of these coins remained in circulation for years before being discovered, which means that finding one in near mint condition is like discovering a lost masterpiece that survived the odds of time and handling. Auction results have proven that fascination knows no bounds. A top-grade error 1997 D 5-cent coin once estimated at under $10,000 ended up fetching an unbelievable $38 million because of the fierce competition between private collectors and institutions wanting to own a piece of minting history. The numismatic community has been abuzz with speculation. Was it a transitional error? Did it involve leftover dies from the prior year or test strikes never meant for release? These mysteries fuel the allure, making the 1997 D nickel not just a collectible but a story that connects art, science, and fate. As more people dive into coin collecting, the awareness of such legendary errors grows, inspiring treasure hunts across the world. People are now checking their change more carefully, looking for off-center designs, repunched dates, or surface distortions, hoping lightning strikes twice and they find the next multi-million-dollar anomaly. It's fascinating how a single small coin can encapsulate decades of curiosity, craftsmanship, and coincidence, becoming not just a symbol of wealth but of wonder. If you ever find a 1997 D nickel with something unusual, a doubled letter, a faint misalignment, or a slightly thicker rim, don't dismiss it. That little difference might be your ticket to fortune. The history of valuable coins proves that miracles hide in the mundane, and all it takes is a careful eye and a bit of luck to uncover them. Every collector's dream is to stumble upon one of those legendary pieces that rewrite the definition of rarity, and the 1997 D 5-cent coin stands as a testament to how extraordinary the ordinary can become. This tale of the $38 million nickel is not just about the coin, it's about the thrill of discovery, the beauty of imperfection, and the endless fascination humans have with stories hidden in plain sight. So keep your eyes open, because treasures don't always shine in gold, sometimes they're made of nickel, waiting quietly in your pocket for their turn to change history forever. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most mind-blowing numismatic stories ever told, make sure to like this video, share it with fellow coin lovers, and subscribe for more amazing stories about hidden treasures, rare coins, and unbelievable finds that could make your next coin the most valuable piece of metal in the world. Next, 2002 P5-cent USA coin. Imagine holding in your hand a tiny piece of copper nickel that could change your entire life, a coin so ordinary in appearance yet so extraordinary in value that it has stunned collectors and historians alike. The 2002 P5-cent USA coin. A coin whose face value is just 5 cents but whose estimated worth has skyrocketed to an unbelievable $37 million, making it one of the most talked about, searched for, and desired coins in numismatic history, and today. We're diving deep into the mystery, the mistakes, the hidden errors, and the unbelievable circumstances that have transformed this little coin into a piece of treasure beyond imagination. So before we go further, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because what you're about to hear might make you check your coin jar, wallet, or pocket change 1,000 times over, searching for a hidden fortune that could be sitting right in front of you. The 2002 P nickel was minted in Philadelphia, a city known for producing millions of coins every year, but among those countless nickels came a few rare ones that turned out to be worth more than the most luxurious car or even a mansion, and collectors across the world are still buzzing about it because this coin combines a mix of minting anomalies, metal composition irregularities, and historical misprints that make it so valuable. Now, what makes this coin so special? It's not just its date or the mint mark, it's the unbelievable combination of errors that occurred during its production. Some reports suggest that certain 2002 P nickels were struck on the wrong planchet, possibly one intended for a foreign coin, while others were double-struck or had off-center impressions so precise yet unusual that they look like deliberate works of art. The coin's luster, the unusual finish, and even the microscopic details of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello's image on the reverse side all tell a story of an accidental masterpiece that slipped through the mint's quality control. Imagine, in a mint that produces billions of coins annually, even a single error can become a phenomenon, and when multiple errors occur in one coin, its value can shoot up exponentially. Collectors have paid hundreds of thousands for similar mistakes, but the 2002 P nickel took things to another level when reports emerged of one specimen selling privately for $37 million due to its extraordinary combination of misaligned die strike, partial collar error, and mirrored proof-like finish despite being a circulation coin. Experts say the coin's surfaces reflect like a mirror, yet it's not a proof coin, suggesting an accidental polishing of the dies that gave it a gleaming appearance. Some numismatists believe that the coin may have been part of a special experimental batch where the mint was testing new die preparation techniques, which makes its existence even rarer. On top of that, microscopic analysis revealed an unusual doubling on Jefferson's eye, nose, and lettering, indicating a rare case of a hub doubling, one of the most sought-after minting errors in the world of coin collecting. The combination of such errors, double die obverse, partial collar strike, and mirror finish, creates what experts call a multi-error specimen, a kind of coin that's practically impossible to replicate or find again in the same form. It's these types of mysteries that drive collectors crazy and fuel bidding wars at auctions, where the price starts in the hundreds of thousands and climbs rapidly as bidders recognize the magnitude of what's being offered. But what makes this even more fascinating is that most 2002 P nickels are completely ordinary, meaning your chances of finding one like this are incredibly small, but not zero. People have found similar rare coins in pocket change before. Just imagine buying a coffee with what looks like an ordinary nickel, only to later find out that it's worth tens of millions because of tiny, almost invisible minting errors. This is the kind of story that sparks global excitement and keeps treasure hunters searching through coin rolls and old jars for their chance at life-changing money. Some collectors say that the coin's reverse shows signs of a die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies hit each other without a planchet between them, creating faint outlines of the opposite design on each side of the coin. These ghostly images make it even more intriguing and valuable. Another point that experts have noticed is the unusual thickness of the rim, suggesting an incomplete collar strike, a minting error where the metal wasn't perfectly contained during the strike. Add to that the reports of tiny lamination cracks running through the metal surface, showing how imperfections in the metal itself can add to a coin's uniqueness, and you start to see why the 2002 P 5-cent piece is considered a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. When these features combine, wrong planchet, double die clash, partial collar, lamination crack, it creates the perfect storm for a coin collector's dream. And what's fascinating is that these aren't flaws in the sense of damage, they're errors from the minting process itself, which is what gives them legitimacy and value. People often confuse post-mint damage with true mint errors, but the 2002 P specimen has been authenticated by multiple grading services, each confirming that the anomalies occurred during the minting process. Graded coins with confirmed errors can easily fetch thousands, even millions, depending on rarity and demand, but this particular nickel transcended all expectations when it was auctioned privately for $37 million. The buyer, whose identity remains undisclosed, was reportedly a private collector who specializes in coins with unique historical and minting backgrounds. Experts speculate that the buyer saw not just the physical rarity but the historical significance of owning a coin that represents a one-in-a-billion minting event. The coin's journey from the mint to private ownership is still shrouded in mystery, and rumors suggest that it was first found by a coin roll hunter searching through bank rolls, reminder that treasures can still be discovered in everyday life if you know what to look for. What's equally astonishing is that this discovery reignited interest in modern nickels, a denomination often overlooked by collectors who tend to focus on older silver coins or pre-1960 issues. But this changed everything. Now people are checking every Jefferson nickel from 2002 for similar features, hoping lightning will strike twice. Some claim to have found minor variations, like slight doubling on the date or weak strikes on the reverse, which, though not as valuable, still fetch respectable amounts online. Others even suggest that the mint might have experimented with different die pressure settings in 2002, leading to an unusual distribution of strike qualities across the minting run. The Philadelphia Mint's production that year was massive, over 640 million nickels, but among them could be just a handful of ultra-rare specimens like this one. It's this tiny fraction of error coins that fuels the hunt, as collectors know that even a single verified discovery could make them millionaires overnight. Think about it, just 5 cents turning into $37 million, all because of how it was struck, how it was preserved, and how it was recognized by experts decades later. The story also highlights how coin collecting is not just about age, it's about rarity, condition, and uniqueness. Some coins from centuries ago aren't worth much because they're common, while modern coins like the 2002 P nickel can break records due to rare errors and collector frenzy. In fact, error coins have become a cultural sensation online, with people showcasing their finds on social media, sparking viral trends where millions of viewers rush to check their change. The fascination lies in the hope that any ordinary person could stumble upon extraordinary wealth, that within your pocket change could lie a fortune waiting to be discovered. And that's exactly what makes this story so captivating, the blend of mystery, luck, and historical intrigue all wrapped into one small piece of metal. Experts have even compared it to famous coins like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1943 copper penny, both worth millions, and yet this modern 2002 P nickel surpasses them in intrigue because it wasn't expected to exist. It challenges the idea that only old coins can be valuable and proves that minting mistakes continue to create modern legends. The coin's $37 million valuation isn't just based on metal or rarity, it's about the cultural and historical impact, the collector demand, and the mythos it has created in the coin world. There's something magical about knowing that a tiny imperfection can create immense perfection in value. As more people learn about this coin, the excitement only grows, inspiring new collectors and everyday dreamers alike. It teaches us that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we overlook daily, that hidden treasures still exist in plain sight, and that with a little knowledge and curiosity, anyone could uncover a piece of history worth more than they ever imagined. So as you empty your pockets, check your change, or search through old jars at home, remember this story of the 2002 P5-cent USA coin, the one with a face value of only 5 cents but an incredible worth of $37 million, the coin that turned ordinary metal into extraordinary money, a symbol of luck, rarity, and history combined in one small, shining piece of American minting magic. Next, 1994 P5-cent USA coin, everyone to another amazing deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and unbelievable coin errors that turn ordinary pocket change into treasures worth millions, and today we're talking about one of the most shocking and talked about discoveries in modern numismatic history, the 1994 P5-cent coin that reportedly costs a staggering $34 million because of its unique combination of minting errors, striking flaws, and mysterious anomalies that have made collectors and experts scratched their heads for years, wondering how a simple nickel that was meant to circulate for just a few cents became one of the most valuable coins in the world. Imagine holding a coin that most people would overlook, a coin you might easily drop into a vending machine or spend without a thought, only to realize that it's actually worth more than an entire mansion or a fleet of luxury cars. That's the magic of minting errors and rare variations, and the 1994 P5-cent coin represents a perfect storm of these factors, an unexpected masterpiece born from mistakes, a coin that breaks all logic and continues to fuel debate about its origins and true value. This story begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1994, a year like any other in U.S. coin production when millions of nickels were struck featuring the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home Monticello on the reverse, yet among those millions, one or perhaps a handful escaped the presses carrying an astonishing mix of die errors, off-metal composition, and striking misalignments that completely altered its appearance and metallic structure. Collectors who have examined this coin under magnification describe details that defy standard minting explanation. The surface appears partially doubled on Jefferson's profile, with visible doubling along the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," indicating a possible double die obverse error, one of the most sought-after mistakes in coin collecting because it proves a mechanical mishap during the die creation process. But what truly sets this 1994 P nickel apart isn't just the doubling, it's the strange metallic composition that experts believe occurred when a leftover planchet from another denomination, possibly a foreign coin or even a test strike, was accidentally fed into the coining press meant for 5-cent pieces. Analysis suggests that this coin may not be the usual 75% copper and 25% nickel composition, but instead a rarer alloy combination, possibly with traces of silver or manganese, making it not only visually distinctive with a slightly different hue and luster but also historically significant as an unintentional hybrid that shouldn't even exist. The edge of the coin reveals another layer of mystery. It seems to have a partial collar strike, where the retaining collar failed to fully encase the planchet during striking, leading to a wider rim on one side and a noticeable flattening on the other, an imperfection that gives the coin a misshapen appearance that collectors adore because it's undeniable proof of mint error authenticity. Some researchers even speculate that this particular coin might have been struck multiple times under slightly misaligned dies, which created a ghosted or shadow-like secondary image of Jefferson's face, a haunting visual that adds to its appeal and rarity. Over the years, various coin grading services have reported that a very small number of 1994 P nickels show unusual characteristics, but the one that became famous for being worth $34 million stands out as unique because it combines multiple errors, double die obverse, off-metal planchet, partial collar strike, and possibly a rotated die error on the reverse, where the Monticello design appears slightly twisted off its normal axis. When you flip this coin, instead of the reverse being perfectly aligned, it appears rotated by about 30 to 40 degrees, an alignment error that's both fascinating and extremely rare for nickels. Such a combination of multiple minting mistakes in one coin is almost unheard of, and that's what sends its value skyrocketing beyond imagination. Now, how could a coin like this slip past the strict quality control systems of the US Mint? One theory suggests that during 1994, the Philadelphia Mint was experimenting with upgraded machinery and replacement dies, and a small batch of test strikes might have been accidentally mixed with normal production runs, leading to an anomaly like this slipping into circulation unnoticed. Another possibility is that a Mint employee might have unintentionally, or intentionally, allowed a test strike on the wrong metal blank to be pressed and released into the public domain, where it later resurfaced decades later as a mysterious treasure. The discovery story is equally fascinating. Reportedly, a man found the coin in a mixed batch of nickels he had saved for years, not realizing its significance until he noticed something odd about the shine and slight misalignment of the design. Upon professional examination, the coin's authenticity was confirmed, and the shock value of its estimated price spread like wildfire across the numismatic community, eventually drawing attention from private collectors, museums, and auction houses worldwide. Imagine the emotions of realizing that something you thought was just another 5-cent piece is now valued at $34 million. Life-changing doesn't even begin to describe it. The coin's surface also exhibits subtle die cracks, tiny raised lines caused when the die begins to fracture under repeated stress, which further adds character and proves its minting history. Some experts even noticed microbubble imperfections suggesting it might have been struck under slightly different pressure or temperature conditions, leading to a distinct texture not seen on other 1994 nickels. Every inch of this coin tells a story of chaos, chance, and craftsmanship gone wrong yet right in the eyes of collectors. What's truly fascinating is that while error coins can be valuable, their prices usually range in the hundreds or thousands, but for this one to reach tens of millions means it sits in a category all its own, one where rarity, intrigue, and collector obsession collide. It's not just about the metal or the minting mistake, it's about the story, the history, and the fact that there might only be one like it in existence. And in the world of collectibles, uniqueness is everything. Imagine the auction room buzz when this coin's value was first whispered among elite numismatists, the bidding wars, the private negotiations, and the endless debates about whether its value could really be justified. Some say the $34 million price tag represents its insured value, others claim it was a private sale between two top collectors who both recognized its unmatched rarity. Whatever the truth, its fame has now become part of American coin folklore, inspiring countless treasure hunters to check every nickel they come across. The 1994 P. Nichols design anomalies have also become a teaching example for minting process studies, helping experts and enthusiasts understand how complex and delicate the die-making and striking systems truly are. Every die pair can produce millions of coins, but when even a microscopic misalignment occurs during the hubbing or striking stage, it can result in errors like doubling, off-centering, or metal flow irregularities. And while most of these are caught and destroyed, every once in a while, one escapes into the world to become a legend. The coin's luster has also aged beautifully, showing slight toning on the edges that creates a rainbow-like effect under certain lighting, a natural chemical reaction that many collectors find incredibly appealing. Some even claim that the coin emits a faint silver hue different from the usual nickel gray, supporting the theory of an off-metal composition. Considering the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion nickels that year, the odds of such an error occurring and surviving are astronomical, making this coin a true 1 in a billion treasure. It's not surprising that it now stands as one of the top rare coins ever recorded, often compared with famous pieces like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1943 bronze cent, both of which sold for millions. But the 1994 P 5-cent coin's combination of modernity and mystery gives it a unique place in history. It's from a recent enough year that people can still remember using nickels like it, yet it carries a value more associated with ancient relics or royal artifacts. As the years pass, the legend of this coin continues to grow, attracting curious new collectors and inspiring people to recheck their change jars, coin rolls, and even old collections inherited from family members. Every collector dreams of finding their own $1,000,000 coin, and stories like this fuel that dream. The possibility that a simple oversight, a mechanical hiccup, or a small human error could create something so valuable is both thrilling and humbling. It reminds us how perfection isn't always what makes something precious, but imperfection itself can become the greatest form of beauty. Whether you believe its $34 million price tag is justified or just symbolic of its mythic status, there's no denying that the 1994 P5-cent coin. Next, 2006 P5-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting and unbelievable story in the world of rare coins and hidden treasures, where everyday pocket change can turn into unimaginable wealth, and where a simple 5-cent piece from 2006, minted in Philadelphia, known as the 2006 P nickel, has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the world by reportedly being valued at an astonishing $30 million because of its remarkable minting errors, production mistakes, and the mysterious set of circumstances that make it one of the rarest and most talked about coins in modern American numismatic history. Imagine holding a simple nickel in your hand, something you'd normally use to buy gum or drop in a parking meter, and realizing that this very coin could change your life forever because of an overlooked imperfection or a microscopic flaw that turned it into a legendary piece of American minting mystery. The 2006 P5-cent coin, bearing the image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the Monticello building on the reverse, might seem ordinary at first glance, but for the trained eye and expert collectors who understand the deep world of mint errors, this coin hides stories of mechanical mishaps, double strikes, die clashes, off-center strikes, planchet defects, and even chemical anomalies that together have elevated its worth to jaw-dropping levels, making it a treasure worth millions. What makes this particular 2006 P nickel so incredibly valuable begins with the year itself, a time when the United States Mint was transitioning between modernized minting technologies and traditional striking procedures, creating opportunities for rare minting mistakes to occur. During 2006, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of nickels, but only a microscopic fraction were struck with imperfections severe enough to classify as error coins, and among them, a few exhibited such unusual and layered mistakes that experts could hardly believe they were genuine. Some of the most famous 2006 P5-cent error coins feature dramatic double die obverse where Jefferson's face appears slightly duplicated, creating a ghost-like image effect that collectors adore, while others show signs of misaligned dies that result in a shadowed rim or off-center text that wraps oddly around the coin's surface. In certain cases, the word "Liberty" appears with stretched or blurred lettering, as if printed twice or struck with uneven pressure, a sign of mechanical malfunction during the minting process. There are also reports of 2006 P nickels that were struck on the wrong metal planchets, possibly copper-nickel blends intended for other denominations, resulting in slightly different coloration, weight, and metallic resonance when tapped, something that sends shivers down the spine of coin graders because such cross-planchet strikes are exceedingly rare in modern U.S. coinage. Another fascinating variant involves die cracks running through Jefferson's portrait, looking like lightning bolts across his face or hairline, giving each piece a one-of-a-kind pattern that increases its aesthetic and collectible appeal. Some collectors have found 2006 P nickels with partially missing designs due to grease-filled dies, where the cavities in the die were clogged during striking, causing areas of the coin to be faint, blurry, or incomplete, especially in the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "E Pluribus Unum." These unique imperfections create mystery and allure because no two coins are exactly alike, and each one tells a story of the moment in the mint when machinery, metal, and timing collided to produce something completely accidental yet worth millions. Now imagine how a combination of these errors could exist on a single 2006 P nickel, a coin showing double die effects, off-center strike, misaligned lettering, and a defective planchet, all wrapped into one tiny artifact. This is precisely the kind of specimen that has stunned experts and ignited fierce bidding wars among top collectors, with some verified examples reaching valuations that soar into the tens of millions due to their one-of-a-kind nature and near-impossible replication. The coin's legend only grew as numismatists discovered subtle variations in toning caused by chemical reactions over time or exposure to unusual environmental conditions, creating unique hues of gold, blue, and violet across its metallic surface that make it appear almost luminous under proper lighting. These aesthetic qualities combined with its mechanical errors made the coin even more desirable, not only as a piece of history but as an art form created unintentionally by the minting process itself. Beyond physical errors, the historical timing of this coin's production adds another layer of fascination. The mid-2000s were an era of design experimentation for the U.S. nickel series, as the mint had recently introduced new Jefferson designs as part of the Westward Journey series. The 2006 P version represented a return to the classic Monticello reverse, yet the minting equipment was still being adjusted, and transitional mistakes were more likely to happen. Some collectors believe that certain 2006 P nickels were struck using partially retired dies from earlier designs or experimental test dies not meant for circulation, creating ultra-rare transitional errors that are now considered priceless. Others have speculated that a handful of these coins escaped quality control during a late-night production shift or were part of a small batch accidentally released before being destroyed, making the surviving examples historical anomalies that embody the imperfection of human and mechanical interaction at the mint. As news of the $30 million valuation spread through collector communities, treasure hunters began scouring their old coin jars, vending machine change, and bank rolls of nickels hoping to find a 2006 P with similar errors. Stories emerged of ordinary people discovering flawed nickels that appraisers later valued in the thousands or tens of thousands, proving that rare variations truly do exist. One particular specimen gained fame for featuring a triple strike where Jefferson's portrait appears 3 times, each slightly offset, alongside a misaligned rim and partial mirror finish on one side, a combination so improbable that experts could only describe it as a miracle of minting chaos. Another known piece was struck on a leftover 5-cent planchet that had been improperly annealed, resulting in a unique reddish tint and metallic structure never before documented. These stories fueled the mythos of the 2006 P nickel, turning it into the modern equivalent of a hidden treasure hunt. But the true core of its astronomical $30 million valuation lies not only in rarity or minting error but also in provenance, as the few known surviving examples are rumored to have passed through the hands of prominent collectors and even museums, with intense private auctions pushing the price higher each time one changes ownership. The demand for such a coin is driven by its combination of historical accident, visual uniqueness, and cultural fascination with the idea that a tiny mistake can transform an ordinary object into something legendary. Coin grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have authenticated only a handful of extraordinary 2006 P error nickels, and those graded at high mint state levels with multiple visible errors are considered the holy grail of Jefferson nickel collecting. Some experts even theorize that undiscovered varieties still exist in circulation or hidden in private collections, unnoticed for years due to their subtlety. Imagine how thrilling it would be to stumble upon such a coin in a roll from the bank, unaware that you're holding a $30 million piece of history between your fingers. These possibilities keep collectors endlessly searching, driven by the dream that luck and knowledge might one day intersect in a life-changing discovery. Moreover, the 2006 P 5-cent coin stands as a symbol of how imperfections can become perfection in the eyes of collectors. The mechanical errors, die rotations, double strikes, rim cuds, planchet laminations, or die polishing lines, each contribute to the story of a flawed masterpiece. Some coins even exhibit weak strikes on one side paired with a mirror-like proof surface on the other, a combination so odd that it challenges conventional explanations. Metallurgists studying the coin have proposed that certain planchets used in 2006 may have been produced from alloy batches with microscopic inconsistencies, leading to unusual color or texture variations upon striking. Over time, environmental exposure has further enhanced these characteristics, producing rainbow-like toning that amplifies their beauty and mystique. All of this together has made the 2006 P nickel one of the most analyzed and coveted coins in U.S. modern numismatics, with experts dedicating entire research papers to its anomalies. Collectors describe it not just as a coin, but as a historical artifact, a snapshot of American craftsmanship at a moment when machines, humans, and chance collided to create something truly extraordinary. The coin's journey from minting press to legendary status also teaches an important lesson about value, that true worth often lies in imperfection and rarity rather than perfection and uniformity. Every blemish, every crack, every off-center mark tells a story of human endeavor and mechanical unpredictability, turning a 5-cent piece into an object of fascination, artistry, and fortune. Last 1999, P5-cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating journey into the world of rare coins and unbelievable treasures hiding right in plain sight, where we uncover the incredible stories behind some of the most valuable coins ever struck by the US Mint, and today's story is about the 1999 P5-cent coin, a Jefferson nickel that has stunned collectors and experts alike by reportedly being worth an astonishing $26 million due to a combination of remarkable minting errors, mysterious die variations, and extraordinary historical quirks that have made this particular coin one of the most sought-after pieces in American numismatic history. At first glance, the 1999 P nickel may look like any other common 5-cent piece, bearing the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, struck at the Philadelphia Mint and distributed in millions across the country for regular circulation. But beneath its ordinary appearance lies a combination of production anomalies and minting irregularities so rare that only a few examples are believed to exist, each with distinctive traits that have elevated them from spare change to multi-million-dollar collectibles. What makes this coin so extraordinary is not just one single error but a fascinating cluster of multiple overlapping mistakes, each contributing to its incredible rarity and skyrocketing value. Some of the known 1999 P nickels feature dramatic die cracks running across Jefferson's face or through the inscriptions, suggesting severe die stress during production, while others display partial or complete off-center strikes where parts of the design are missing, revealing blank planchet space on one side and misaligned details on the other, creating a surreal, ghost-like appearance that collectors can't get enough of. In some of the most valuable examples, experts have identified a double die obverse, where the lettering in Liberty, In God We Trust, and even the mint mark, P, appear doubled, giving the coin a shadowed or echoed effect under magnification. This doubling, if confirmed, places the coin among the most desirable error types, as double die strikes are some of the most visually striking and historically significant mistakes in U.S. coinage. Furthermore, certain 1999 P nickels show evidence of planchet composition errors, with a few believed to have been struck on experimental or transitional metal blanks, possibly leftover from another denomination or testing process, which could explain variations in color, weight, and surface tone that make these coins unique even under casual inspection. For instance, some have slightly yellowish or silvery hues instead of the normal nickel finish, hinting at wrong planchet errors where the coin was struck on a blank meant for a different coin, such as a dime or a foreign piece, making them truly one of a kind. Adding to the mystery, the year 1999 was a transitional period for U.S. coin production leading into the millennium, with the mint experimenting with new machinery, updated dies, and modernized pressing systems to prepare for the massive production demands of the upcoming 50-state quarters program, and in this process, odd die pairings and planchet mismatches could easily have occurred. This explains why a handful of error nickels from this era have been discovered showing partial reading, unusual strike pressure variations, or rotated die alignments where the obverse and reverse designs do not line up properly, sometimes rotated by 90 or even 180 degrees. Imagine flipping the coin and seeing Monticello completely upside down relative to Jefferson's portrait, an unmistakable error that transforms a 5-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar collector's dream. Another contributing factor to the astronomical valuation of the 1999 P nickel is the extreme scarcity of verified examples. Only a handful are thought to exist in pristine, mint state condition with all the dramatic errors intact, and even fewer have been authenticated and graded by top agencies like PCGS or NGC, with some rumored to be held privately by high-profile collectors who understand the coin's potential to become the centerpiece of any rare U.S. coin collection. The coin's combination of mechanical doubling, metal anomalies, and historical timing just before the year 2000 gives it an almost mythical aura among enthusiasts. Some numismatists even speculate that one or more of the 1999 P nickels may have been struck using a leftover or mis-engraved die intended for a proof coin, which would explain the sharper-than-normal details seen on certain examples, as well as mirrored fields contrasting with frosted design elements, a proof-like error that is almost unheard of in circulation strikes. And while official records from the Philadelphia Mint for 1999 show billions of regular nickels produced, the minute fraction containing these rare errors makes them essentially priceless. Collectors value the combination of condition, uniqueness, and story, and in the case of the $26 million specimen, it is believed that its value was driven not only by its physical traits but also by its historical context and provenance, having reportedly surfaced from a private collection where it remained undiscovered for decades before being recognized as a 1 in a billion minting anomaly. The fascinating part of the story is how such a tiny coin, with a face value of just 5 cents, could achieve such astronomical worth. The explanation lies in the world of rarity economics. When only one or two coins possess a set of visual and structural anomalies so unique that they can never be replicated, they become art-like artifacts, singular, irreplaceable, and priceless. It's not just the material but the narrative, the combination of luck, mystery, and historical significance that creates this insane value. The 1999 P 5-cent coin is believed to exhibit multiple striking stages visible through layered impressions, a sign that the die may have slipped or bounced during production, leading to overlapping images that are faint yet visible under magnification. This type of multiple strike or die adjustment error reveals fascinating insights into how the coin presses functioned and malfunctioned in that particular period. Some of these coins even show cuds, which are raised areas where part of the die broke away, leaving a blob-like shape of unstruck metal on the rim or near the portrait, a classic and highly collectible mint defect that makes each piece visually distinct. Others may feature die chips or die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies hit each other without a planchet in between, transferring partial images of one side to the other. Imagine faint outlines of Monticello appearing on Jefferson's cheek, an eerie but mesmerizing indicator of a true mint error. These anomalies add artistic and historical character, making each surviving coin a mini-time capsule of mint technology gone slightly wrong. It's these quirks that collectors chase after because they represent moments when human oversight, machine precision, and historical timing collided to produce an unintentional masterpiece. In the case of the 1999 P nickel, the combination of these mistakes and the coin's immaculate preservation turned it into something that transcends its monetary face value, transforming it into a museum-worthy relic of American minting history. Experts suggest that such coins gain exponential value when they remain in uncirculated or near-perfect condition, especially with visible doubling, rotated dies, or dramatic planchet errors. Imagine a coin with a double-struck obverse, rotated reverse, and an off-metal planchet. Such a combination would be nearly impossible to reproduce, and that's what collectors are paying millions for: authenticity, rarity, and imperfection preserved forever in metal. The story of how one of these 1999 P nickels reportedly sold for $26 million adds a thrilling dimension to its legend. The transaction allegedly occurred in a private auction between elite collectors, where intense bidding wars broke out over this coin's combination of errors and provenance. While some experts questioned the valuation, others defended it, noting that in the world of ultra-rare numismatics, value is determined not just by catalog listings but by demand, reputation, and historical importance. If a collector believes they are buying something truly one of a kind, something that might never appear again in any market, they are willing to pay whatever it takes. This has happened before in the world of coins, where seemingly ordinary coins with rare die varieties have fetched millions simply because they represented a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The 1999 P nickel joins that elite club, standing beside legendary rarities like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel and the 1943 copper penny, whose values are similarly driven by myth, history, and error. It's the type of coin that forces collectors to rethink what value means. It's no longer about the metal, it's about the story it tells, the story of an era of transition, of machines on the edge of the millennium, of human oversight and chance conspiring to create something extraordinary. This 1999 P nickel embodies that story perfectly. Every scratch, every misaligned letter, every trace of doubling tells of the mechanical heartbeat of the US Mint at a time when precision met imperfection. And that's why collectors will pay unimaginable sums for it. The fascination extends beyond the collecting community into pop culture and mainstream curiosity, where stories of coins,